Well, people, we are going to be looking at the new Shudder joint. This is not a test. It is directed by Adam MacDonald, who also wrote the joint. Well, he adapted it, right, for the screen. It is produced by Adam MacDonald as well, along with Sybil Liu. Executive produced by Michael Scollett and Luke Taylor. Lee Malia handled the score. Cinematography was from Christian Biles. Pamela Bain edits the piece. We got production design from Holly Sullivan. Fiona Cornelia is on art direction. Set decoration is Lietia Udu, with wardrobe costumes from Rachel Anderson. Sean Hunter, Anna Jones, Carly Madil, Steve Newburn, and Melanie Quigg are on hair, makeup, prosthetics, all of that jazz. Now, we have got Nick Alaltutis, James Binkley, Millie Dallas, Joel Labelle, Nicole Mola, Michael Murray, AJ Rizzi, John Steed, Steve Wilshire, and Cara Wooten, taking care of all our stunts, right? And so, our cast, right? We have got Olivia Holt is Sloane Price. Her sister Lily is played by Joelle Farrow. Her dad is played by... bear me for a second. Who's her dad? Yes, her dad is played by Jeff Roop. We then have got Grace Casper, played by Chloe Avakian, right? Oh, actually, I've got all the actual names and everyone. Trace is played by Carson MacCormac. We got Carrie, played by Courtney Moore. Reese, played by Froy Gutierrez. Mrs. Casper, played by Krista Bridges. Who else do we have? Lily, played by... Oh, yeah, we did Lily. Mr. Baxter, that's it, played by Luke McFarlane. The woman on the voice recordings is Missy Peregrine. And then the man we hear on the megaphone is voiced by Perez Tiku. Yeah, I think that's everyone, right? So what is all of this about? It is this. Sloane and a small group of her classmates take cover in their high school to escape their suddenly apocalyptic hometown. As danger relentlessly pounds on the doors, Sloane begins to see the world through the eyes of people who actually want to live, and takes matters into her own hands. So that is that. Now, the gist of the story is... Well, no, sorry. We got a director's statement, right? So it reads, as a storyteller, you're always looking for a story that speaks to you, moves you, stays with you long after, and hopefully blows you away. This Is Not a Test is that story for me. Courtney Summers' book is one I simply couldn't put down. Like the best horror movies in the genre, the apocalypse is only the backdrop to a deeper meaning and acts as a metaphor. When I was 19, I suffered from a crippling depression that had me relating to our lead character, Sloane's circumstances, immediately. As I'm sure so many of us can, it quickly informed me the true backbone of this incredible story and its theme, hope. The Walking Dead has 4 spin-off shows, and the very recent The Last of Us was a monster hit, reminding us that these kind of stories touch a nerve and will never die. This Is Not a Test is primed to do the same. Adapting the book was exciting and cathartic. The characters so dense and rich. The film takes place in 1998. We feel that warm nostalgia as the world falls apart during a zombie apocalypse. Again, a metaphor for Sloane's inner journey. Shooting the film was extremely challenging, with a fight against time, prosthetics, major set pieces, locations, etc. We all rose to the occasion and captured what I think is lightning in a bottle. The casting of Sloane was paramount to the film's success, and Olivia Holt's performance absolutely blew me away. She is brilliant in the film, and I can't wait for the world to see her heartbreaking performance. Complementing her is our stellar group of actors, including Luke McFarlane in a role like you've never seen him before, and Froy Gutierrez' subtle and emotional take on Reese. So yes, there we go. So yeah, this is an adaptation of a novella from Courtney Summers. Actually, it might be a full-blown novel. It came out in 2011, but Courtney then revised it in 2024, adding some more stuff. Now, with all of these things, I have no clue, right? What did they leave? What did they take out? All of that jazz. I don't know, people. I can't tell you that. I can only speak on what we see. And yes, we definitely see that Sloane, she is tired, right? She wants to give up. We're not fully sure on why. Now, there is a letter that she's looking at, and maybe there's stuff in the letter. I couldn't see the letter, right? But other than that, we're not quite sure why. Now, there are definitely some things that we can go, okay, it's possibly because of that, right? There's some of those. So, we have this, and it could speak to some of the things Sloane does, because we do get a lot of that standing and watching kind of situation going on, which is, when we got these crazy things trying to kill us, what are we doing? You know what I mean? But there is that. Now, I'm glad in this director's statement it did specify a year this came out, because it's 1998. Now, again, unless there's calendars that you can see and all of this, I don't think the year is necessarily clear. It does make you think it's set in the past, though, due to the mobile phones, right? So that was a thing of just like, yeah, they look like the early models, you know what I mean? But slightly different, right? Like the phones in the States to the phones in the UK were a little different back in the days. So now we know it's 1998, which explains some things, but it's not necessarily a major player in the story itself. The story kind of works where if it was set whatever, But we have this situation because, this thing has happened. And we have these for all purposes, we will call them zombies floating around the spot. And Sloane bumps into another group of people who are trying to escape, find cover. So that's the big thing. It's this, as I said, everything it's looking at different kind of themes, right? So friendship, life, what are you prepared to do? How do you react when everything's falling apart, right? Do you look out for everyone? Or are you just looking out for you and yours, right? There's all of these things we kind of look at, right? Do we welcome everyone, right? Are we trying to help everyone, or are we just like, fuck all of you, These kind of things get looked at. And then also, right, you have a certain reaction to things. But when it's directly impacting you, how do we act, right? So they're all kind of things that come up in the film, which, I think there are ones that are handled pretty well. There are ones where you're just like, I'm not sure, right? I think we do get some good reactions from cast when things are going down, right? We do get some of those responses that you like. I can buy that. I can buy that from this crew, right? I mean, sometimes we revert to kind of shouty when I think we could have had a bit more of a nuance reaction, because there's things where it's just like there's a point where certain accusations are thrown in a direction, and I think because no one's really sure what actually went down, and you just think there's so many ways it could have, right? Plus the bias of it would have been interesting to explore those different things a bit more, right? Because you could say any response is valid in this kind of situation, but is it, right? What would be the end goal if it was something else, right? I think all of these could have been but it's kind of approached and then it's done. Right? And something like that you kind of feel does linger. Now it lingered more in the essence of shouting from someone else. And again, that's all well and good. But I think that is an easy reaction, right? Like if we had played a little bit more with it, I think that would have been really interesting, so we do get, there's definitely with the Sloane character, but with some of the others, a lot of standing and staring, right? And, it is early days of mobile phones, but there would be internet, right? And, in 98, I think 28 Days Later had come out, right? I mean, essentially there'd been a whole load of zombie stories, The Living Dead and just so many different things. So it's not like we're saying any of these kids that we're dealing with, I'm sure at least one of them consumes horror. Right? So you were just like, in this kind of situation, surely there's some reference points, there's some things that people do, right? Because some of the reactions are a little bit like, what, like, what this is? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? I think how zombies do act there are some odd things that they're doing. Like at one point they're all lying down. And I'm just like, wait, why are they lying down? Right? And then know to get up. And I don't think a zombie necessarily has a fast twitch muscle. You know what I mean? So I think you can have running zombies maybe, but quick reactions on like standing. I don't know if we're getting that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, we delve into some of the characters' past with some flashbacks. I mean, it's mainly Sloane that we're really looking at. It could have been interesting to kind of, look at everyone, right? How do we get this to this point from everyone? Which then would explain certain motivations and actions that we see later in the film. It's look, the film, it's interesting. You know what I mean? It's put together well. There are holes in the story, right? I think that's the main thing. There's holes in the story. I did feel that the sound at times kind of, it was just a bit much, right? It kind of took away from conversations that were going on, and just the like the movement, right? The actions of people that we're observing. Sometimes it's just a bit too much, and it's taking away from all of these things. I think we could have had a little bit of a better contrast in that regards. And sometimes the camera work, we're going a little, it's not so much herky jerky, but too fast on some cuts, where you're just like, I can see what you're trying to do, but it doesn't quite do it. Like that was too far. It was too quick, and I think you know what I mean. What you're trying to do is already being served, right? We don't need to egg the bread anymore, as it were. So there are all of these kind of things, but in a world where we've just had Bone Temple in 28 years, you know what I mean? Last of Us Season 2, right? Just all the Walking Dead that's currently doing its thing out there. I think people have an appetite for this kind of thing, Like Netflix Black Summer has ended, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think people who like this thing, who are into their zombies, I think they can enjoy this, right? It is dropping on Shudder this week, so people, I mean, look, if you're a horror fan, I know you probably got Shudder, so yeah, that's where you will find it. And yeah, let me know how it works for you. What did you think about the performances and the story? Yeah, let me know. But people, this is not a test.